Good afternoon, good evening to all the participants on WebEx and YouTube. Greetings from Taichung City. I'm Xin Yidan, Officer of Social Affairs Bureau, Taichung City Government. It is a great honor to have you to be with us today for paying attention to the public-private partnership from Taichung City, Riga City, and Kitakyushu City. It's the first time for Taichung City to host an NGO-CSW parallel event, and we are so excited. Good evening to all the participants on WebEx and YouTube. And we are so excited to we are so excited to start today's panel. Before kicking off, I would like to briefly introduce reminders for attending today's event, also agenda and panelists. For attendees, first we'll mute everyone. If you have anything that you'd like to say or share, please type in the chat box at the bottom right corner. We'll get back to you at Q&A session if time allows. Second, please note that the event is under video recording. If you might, please turn your camera off. Third, for improving the quality for our events in the future, please kindly fill out the survey and link is right in the chat box. And let's welcome our honorable panelists for today, Director General Pan, Chairman Shouhui Huang, Social Work Director Kwame Zheng, and President Mitsuko Horiuchi. And Mayor Madeleine will join us by the video. Since we have an intense agenda today, so sorry, we'll just first let our panelists wave their hands to the participants. And I'll give a brief introduction of each panelist before each session starts. As for the agenda, we have 5 sessions today, in which every panelist will have 15 minutes for the presentation. At last, we'll have about 10 minutes for Q&A. Before the first session, I would like to invite Director General Huai Zhenpeng to give us an opening remarks. Dr. Peng, please.
Morning. Of Social Affairs Bureau of Taichung City Government to social work field over 35 years. I'm also the chair of Department of Social Work at the Donghai University. I'm a member of Gender Equality Community, Inclusive Yuan. Now I'm continue to contribute my expertise to social work in Taichung City Government. I'm going to give the opening remark on behalf of Taichung City Government. We have more than 60 participants online, and the member is still increasing. Today marks the first time that Taichung City Government have hosted an online event with connection to the well-known annual forum of issue of women and gender equality organized by non-government organization Commission on the Status of Women, CSW. It's our honor and pleasure to have all you two here today. Thank you. By getting started, I would like to express my own appreciation to everyone that made this event happen. Thank you for accepting our invitation to share with your precise and professional experience. And thank you, Mayor Madeleine and Mr. Jen of Iraga City. Thank you, President Horiuchi of Kitakyushu on Asian Women, Social Work Director Zheng of Taiwan GD Association for your participation. And thank you our partner, Chairperson Huang and the staff on the Taichung One Life Association for coordinating this event together. Such collaboration echoes the topic of public-private partnership, PPP, public-private partnership of today's event. Taichung City government has been committed to the promoting gender equality. We will talk about it in the first session. Today, I aim to stress and reinforce the tie of collaboration between non-government organization and the local city government. We'll still discuss our PPP, public-private partnership mechanism, with people who have interest in issue of women welfare and gender equality. We will still invite local government and non-government organization working in Taichung City, the Philippines, and Japan to share their experience and implementing gender equality relay program in collaborating the local non-government organization and the government, such as this event will first serve a two-way discussion platform between the gender and the non-government organization to build a gender equality society and with SDGs 5, Sustainable Development Goals. Gender equality through the public-private partnership. That would be great if the discussion today further inspire you in the promotion of women's rights and the LGBT community rights in the future. Well, I know I should not talk much of your time, as we have 5 exciting sessions by our guests from Taichung City, the Philippines, and Japan. Hope you will enjoy our event. If you have any question, suggestion, and they just want to say hi, please type the chat box in the bottom right corner, and our staff will get back to you as soon as possible. Thank you very much for listening, and we are going to start our first session and introduce our effort in promoting gender equality in Taichung City. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Pan, for the encouraging and warm greeting opening remarks. We are going to start the first session about introducing the blueprint of how Taichung City government promotes gender equality. Dr. Pan, the floor is yours.
I'm going to start my presentation for today. Moving action forward, building a gender-friendly city. Taichung City government has been building a gender-friendly city by implementing gender equality and mechanism collaborating with so many non-government organizations to develop fairy programs and promote the right of women and the different gender. Okay. Next page. This is my line. 5 points. Next. Okay. Let's first start with the introduction of Taichung City. Okay. Taichung is a very beautiful city. I'm been here from 14 years, more than 50 years. So you can guess my age. I would like to give a brief introduction of Taichung. Taichung is a special municipality located in central Taiwan with population of more than 282 million people. This is the second population city with second largest harbor and the largest Air Force base. They are profound cultural and tourism resources. Next. Our mayor, Lu Xiuyan, the one and the only female mayor among the 6 special municipality. She building up a gender-friendly environment and the city. Being mayor and also we call Mama Shizhang means mother of our city. Of two and the same time, she aimed at building a gender-friendly environment and the city, which include first, caring for the elder and the kid, leaving the young no worry. Second, subsidy for grandparents. Third, continue and expanding the baby bonus. First, diversify way of welfare for giving birth. And you can see the bottom right corner that are more than 11 coordination and representative. So we want to make more about empowering girls, implementing gender mainstream. I want to show you how our total picture, whole image of social affair. So you can see we have 8 point. You can from the 12 o'clock and from the you're right. First is welfare service with the disabled. Second is cooperation and volunteer service. Third, Center for Family Service. 4, women welfare and gender equality advocacy. This committee is special for women welfare and gender equality. 5, welfare service for the children and the youth. 6, social assistance and food bank service. 7, domestic violence and sexual assault prevention service. 8, welfare service for the health promotion for the senior citizen. I want to introduce Taichung City Equality Community. We have a 4-layer meeting held every 6 months in voting of women group district office. You can from the left to see the first is social participation, second, labor and economy, third, population, marriage and family, 4, education, culture and media, 5, health, medical service and care, 6, personnel safety and justice, 7, environment, energy and technology, 8, gender mainstreaming. So you can see we won so many award from different areas. We implementing about sexual racial regulation to subordinate agency. So you can see we have a cross-sectional gender-friendly evaluation mechanism has won the innovative award of Inclusive Yuan. We have a different creative promotion program. Like you can see the annual gender equality, we have different community. Last year, we have a cross-sectional partnership of 3C, CEDO, CRC, CRPD. You can see we have International Women's Day, we have Taiwan Girls' Day, Thailand, and different festival. This month, we have 7 programs to celebrate International Women's Day, include a series of activity break the barriers. We often have an open house presenting outstanding women in different areas. We invite female leader in Taichung City government to participate. You can see the picture. This is this month's our activity. So we will often also have a digital teaching material. More than 15 episodes introduce different issues of gender equality. You can see in the Facebook promotion. We also have creative, favorable issue directed interaction with the audience. We have a more promotion program you can see in the picture. We emphasize PPP, public-private partnership. We have a different experience. You can see this is the picture of Taichung. We have a Taichung woman and a new immigrant training center, mainly for women and the new immigrant, providing consultation, family support, economic support, personnel support, social support, professional support. We also have community care stronghold for immigrant. You can see that different program. We also have striking rules in women group program. You can see we like a tree include empowerment training, attending mechanism, setting up cooperative and issue alliance. So our conclusion is we have three key points. First is empowerment. Second, improvement. Third, international participant, like our with non-government organization and the CSW, like today our sharing. We have an international forum, and we want to make more program, more forum panel event. Thank you for your listening.
Thank you, Dr. Peng, for sharing Taichung City's government's experiences of how mechanisms are implemented and also the collaboration with the NGOs. I'm proud that I'm part of them for making Taichung a gender-friendly city. In the second session, we'll invite Honorary Chairman of Taichung Wildlife Association, Xiuhui Huang, to share with us the experiences of collaborating with Taichung City Social Affairs Bureau, Taichung City Government to develop the partnership for empowering women in Taichung City. Chairman Huang is an attorney on the chair of a Wildlife Association in Taichung, equipped with legal rationality with emotional touch. She attaches great importance to women's emotional issues, devotes herself to facilitating emotional education, and protects women's well-being in the fields of labor economy and personal safety with her expertise, all while sparing no effort to promote gender equality. Chairman Huang, you have the floor now.
Good day, everyone. Today, my topic is building on CIDO, public-private partnerships for women's empowerment. Introduction of the Wildlife Association. 32 years ago, in Taiwan, when women were treated unfairly in marriage, most of them chose to suffer in silence due to financial factors and their manners. Divorced women tended to be destigmatized in society at the time. In 1990, a dozen of women in higher social and financial status ended their unhappy marriages bravely. Then they established the Wildlife Association to provide women in the same situation with psychological support and comfort. Training volunteers' helping ability. In order to promote our volunteers' abilities and skills in helping, we provide more professional and successful services to women who seek help. The association has provided volunteers with systematic training over the past 10 years. Our volunteers must take a series of courses, including empathy training, marriage counseling theory, and marriage laws. They can start to answer calls and company help seekers to receive legal and marriage counseling services. Only after past evaluations such as this will prevent our volunteers guide women with marriage difficulties based on their own subjective experience. Instead, they accompany and support them in the appropriate manner. During the periods of financial difficulties and manpower shortages, our volunteers play a critical role in the association's operations. After 2 years of volunteering services, the association will train volunteers to be junior counselors. After patient and evaluation, they can provide warm and safe one-on-one counseling services to women with low social support. To help the women be more confident and be the master of their own life again, we provide legal consulting, marriage counseling, sister support group, self-development courses, parent-child education, and vocational training to enable them to regain strength, supporting each other, and self-growth. Now, the association is no longer the home for divorced women, and it's a home for everyone, like married women, single women, men, and for those who have relationship difficulties. Building on CEDAW, in the process of our service, we discover that most of women who encounter marriages difficulties chose to remain silent as they had no financial power or worried that they might lose custody of their children, or were afraid to be re-employed but no vacancy for them. Article 16 of CEDAW regarding marriage and family. During marriage and after divorce, women have the same rights as men, including property, surname right, child discipline, and guardianship. To implement the principle of equality between men and women and recognize the value of housework, Taiwan passed the regulation on the distribution of assets after divorce in 1985. In 1996, the regulation had changed the sole owner of children custody from husband to mutual agreement after divorce. If the agreement fails, the court will decide based on best interest of the children. In 1998, the regulation for wife bearing the husband's surname was abolished. In 2002, all assets, including wives, were dominated by husband has changed to assets managed by each individual party. In year 2007, the right of the children's surname was changed from fathers to the parents' written agree. This is a big step for gender equality. However, the population of foreign spouses in Taiwan exceeds more than 550,000 people, and about 95% are females. Based on Taiwan's traditional patriarchal concept, foreign female spouses have been deprived of their right to parenting education. Some Taiwanese families are even reluctant to let their children learn their mother's native language. The Taiwanese government should eliminate discrimination in this regard. As the result of the gender stereotype, Taiwanese women often bear most of children care responsibilities and housework, and their career promotion tends to be held back. In Taiwan, the percentage of women working part-time is higher than men, as they can have more time to take care of their families, or even they quit their job to be full-time housewives. This has reflected the percentage of female in management labor is lower than males, and has also increased the risk of impoverished in women. They also face difficulties when they return to the workplace. public-private partnerships. We care women's emotional issues in marriage and strive to empower them to be self-reliant and help each other. The association's efforts were recognized and supported by the Taichung City government. In 2013, we are entrusted by the Social Affairs Value Taichung City government to set up a women welfare service center. By combining the public sector's resource and the private sector's experience, we have helped women in special difficult situations. Through the public-private partnerships, we practice various programs to fulfill to see the spirit. In 2021, the Women Welfare Service Center was transformed into the Women and New Immigrant Empowerment Center to extend our services to women and new immigrants, many foreign female spouses. Based on the women's policy, we hold sale-ground events for different ages and also implement gender equality awareness into life. Implementing gender equality education, improving women's financial ability, accompanying vulnerable women, and guiding them to help each other are our priorities in providing local services. Implementation of gender equality education. The role of women is changing. Women with children under 3 years participated in the labor force have increased. In 2000, there were less than half of female population with children under 3 years participated in labor force. In 2020, this number has increased to 74%, but women are still responsible for housework and child after work. Increasing women's financial ability. By comparing with past and now, Taiwanese women's employment and financial situation have improved, but the financial employment inequality for women in special situations still exist, such as new immigrants, Aborigines, middle-aged and elderly women. The association, the code plan is to raise up women's financial ability, which begins by increasing their knowledge in financial management and teaching them how to use social media, such as Facebook, Instagram, and Line, to strengthen their ability in technology, thereby increasing their ability to create wealth and enhancing their financial ability. Accompanying them and assist them in developing mutual help. Women often play multiple roles in their families. As a mother, wife, daughter-in-law, and daughter. During these role plays, if they balance out, role strain and depression will decrease. On the other hand, their well-being will increase. We value women as a different role plays needs. Then we design activities for full-time mothers, single mothers, working women, middle-aged and elderly women, new residents, etc., assisting than in developing mutual help, assisting women to balance out than playing both care recipients and caregivers. In order to encourage women to participate in the activities which hold for them, we provide on-site child care service. This is to assess women's self-growth and support each other. We organize activities such as women's supporting meeting, mutual aid group, improving parent-child relationship, seminars, safety micro-entrepreneurship, financial management for retirement, rebuilding women's self-confidence, increasing their competitiveness in the workplace, increasing their income. As a conclusion, the Taichung City government has long collaborated with our association and other NGOs to promote gender equality. In the process of public-private partnerships, we fulfill various needs of women in Taichung City, including financial support, middle-aged and elderly, vocational training, and other issues that need our caring and supporting. We are committed to improve women's difficult situations in all aspects. We hope that through the public-private partnerships in the future, Taichung City will become one of the most gender equality friendly cities. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman Huang. Thank you for all the efforts on working with us to build a gender-friendly city by providing the essential services for women. And also thank you for being our partner hosting today's event. And our next panelist will be Mayor of Iriga City, Mayor Madeleine. And due to some reasons that it's a pity that the mayor can't be with us real time today. And we did receive her narratives on the topic of women and community during emergency in Iriga City, but there's other unavoidable circumstances. But still, we got a video introducing how the mayor and her team strive for fighting against disasters, emergencies, COVID-19, etc. by building a resilient city, which is in coherence with the priority theme of NGO CSW 66. Mayor Madeleine is also treasurer of United Cities and Local Government, which is abbreviated as UCLG, and co-president of the UCLG Asia Pacific. She is the first lady mayor of Iriga, elected in 2004 and was re-elected twice for 6 consecutive years. As the city mayor, she has placed many innovative programs on environmental protection and management that generated massive amount of stakeholders' participation and contributed to the city's fight against global warming. As a result, the city has received several awards for these endeavors. Let's watch the video.
As a city mayor, I am cognizant of various environmental challenges, disasters, man-made and natural, including the profound impact of man's activities on all components of the natural environment, particularly the effect of increasing population, resource exploitation, and socioeconomic advancement. On top of these challenges, I am also confronted by lack of resources and negative attitude of people towards the environment. Building the culture and practice of disaster resilience is not simple and inexpensive. Decisions about how and when to invest in increasing resilience involve short and long-term planning and investments of time and resources. And so I started investing in my constituents. I recognized the need for a paradigm shift an attitudinal change, one that promotes love for land and nature. I introduced the Character City program and infused it with disaster resiliency aimed at strengthening their communities by promoting excellence in good values and character and strong government, community collaboration. The guiding philosophy of my advocacy is the need for a solid and strong foundation, which echoes our national hero's metaphor of the individual stone's role in fortifying an edifice lies in the good value of the people and the principle of transparency, accountability, people's participation and consultation, competitiveness, and complementation. This is the basis for launching the Character City program intended to discover or rediscover good character qualities that will help bring about a stronger, safer, and more unified community. The city has embarked on a program aimed not only at strengthening the 4 thematic areas of DRRM, namely preparedness, mitigation, response, and recovery, rehabilitation, but particularly in making our communities and families resilient in terms of dealing with disasters and its effects. To make our city resilient in disaster risk reduction, our first agenda is to update the comprehensive land use plan by integrating DRRM and CCA component in all sectors of the plan and mainstreaming it into the other plans of the city, such as the Comprehensive Development Plan, Annual Investment Plan, and 20% Development Fund. We also strengthened our public-private partnership initiatives which concern agencies and entities along the 4 thematic areas. Membership in the CDRRM Council was expanded to include academe, government, business industry sector, volunteer groups, and other stakeholders, while continuing networking and alliances with DRR actors and service providers will also be conducted. I have initiated the formulation and approval of the Iriga City Resilience and Recovery Plan for the City of Iriga for the year 2021 to 2024, identifying 5 thematic areas of recovery programs in response to disaster and COVID-19 pandemic, namely livelihood and business development, sustainable household and business income generation activities, agriculture and fisheries, agricultural production, and accessibility of farmers and fisher folks to support services. Third, health services, integration of disaster and citywide health system services. Fourth, social services covering access to education and social protection services. And fifth, infrastructure development covering physical facilities and ICT-enabled facilities. We prioritize the sustainable organic agricultural development to support our local farmers and bring food to the table of our constituents.
Papasalamat po ako kay Mayor Madel sa ading tinaon niyang programa para kanamo na sad na para uma. Kadto pa po nagsigi-sigi kanamo tabang kay Mayor Madel.
We provided livelihood development and employment generation to help out our unemployed residents, LSIs, ROFWs, BP2 beneficiaries, and local workers. And also the ecotourism and investment promotion to revive our economy despite this pandemic.
Malaking bagay po sa amin, nakakatulong din yun dahil kung halimbawa po katulad niya, kung halimbawa po wala kaming trabaho sa iba, sa construction, o meron pong mga darating ng mga turista, kami po yung kinukuha nila.
The personal happiness that one feels when you see your constituents appreciating your effort is immeasurable. The vegetable on wheels was an inspiring and brilliant idea that literally brought the market right at everyone's doorstep. I found it inspiring that even during the hardships, the people, especially our frontliners, are willing to adapt, adjust, and even risk themselves to serve the people. Typhoons and tropical cyclones passing through Iriga City frequently lead to severe damage of properties, infrastructure, and loss of livelihood. Cognizant of the situation, Iriga has embarked on adopting innovative strategies in combating the issue, structural and non-structural programs, projects, and activities were put into place. The city invested in new drainage infrastructure and rehabilitation of existing drainage lines. After completion of this project, the flood water recedes rapidly after every typhoon or heavy downpour. It is my principle that development and resiliency must be inclusive and must not only benefit the areas surrounding the central business district, but must also include the far-flung barangays of the city. The farmers from these areas are especially vulnerable to typhoons and disasters as the dirt roads became impassable after such events, making it very challenging to travel to and from their residence as well as they transport their produce. Through the effort of LGU departments and barangays, the city was successful in constructing farm-to-market roads, which increases mobility of farm produce from these areas, leading to cheaper and fresh product for the local community, thereby reducing our reliance to products. It is Iriga City's pride to be one of the first cities in the Bicol region to have an approved 10-year solid waste management plan and have the first approved sanitary landfill in the province of Camarines Sur. Through the local Solid Waste Management Board, the city was able to prepare its 10-year solid waste management plan consistent with the National Solid Waste Management Framework. The waste management plan main emphasis was the reuse, recycling, and composting of wastes generated within the city. Waste management planning requires the cooperation and inputs of all stakeholders. Therefore, the creation of a solid waste management board composed of different sectors involved in waste management were required. These stakeholders have different experiences, needs, and ideas that contributed very well to the formulation of the plan. A Sangguniang Panglungsod resolution for the formation of the City Solid Waste Management Board and Technical Working Group was made to formalize and legalize the creation of the entities. The traditional focus of the health sector has been on the response to emergencies. The ongoing challenge is to widen the focus of emergency risk management for health from that of response and recovery to a more proactive approach which emphasizes prevention and mitigation and the development of community and country capacities to provide timely and effective response and recovery. In my experience, I can say that resilient health systems are based on primary health care at community level that can reduce underlying vulnerability, protect health facilities and services, and scale up the response to meet the wide-ranging health needs in disasters. I am strongly guided by the city's policy direction to provide adequate and accessible social services to all sectors of the city's populace and to ensure an empowered, safe, resilient, peace-loving, and livable community. We implemented the continuous monitoring and updating of local policies that support the social protection concerns and implementation of various PPAs for ongoing implementation of programs, projects, and activities with budget appropriation and judicious utilization of funds. And I ensured that they always have my 100% support in all their undertakings. As a result, there is a reduction in poverty incidence from 37% to 19% in 2020. There are a lot of reasons for me to champion disaster resiliency and environmental protection. Building relationship, I think, is the greatest reason. Building a community that is safe, resilient, ecologically balanced, and vibrant is certainly a significant reason. But I say that as a mayor of a city with 114,457 population residing in areas with identified hazards and vulnerabilities prone to typhoons and flooding, it is my duty to ensure that people are secured in their lives, liberty, and property. I am greatly inspired to further this advocacy because of the significant cooperation and support from the people that I am serving towards making our city resilient and sustainable.
Okay, that is so touching and inspiring for a female mayor. From the perspective of from a female mayor, that government itself should take many stakeholders into consideration when making any policies, especially like Eureka City, assaulted frequently by any kinds of emergency and disasters. So the government has the obligation to build a resilient community to prevent people prone to those emergency and disasters from being ignored under these kind of circumstances. Okay, then let's welcome our fourth speaker. Here comes our fourth speaker, Social Work Director of Taiwan GD Association, Kwon Min-zhen. Kwon Min will introduce how their association works to promote the rights of LGBT plus individuals and also the partnership with Taichung City government. Kwon Min-zhen worked in GD as a volunteer in 2013, with which he organized second and third Taichung Pride. After graduating from the Department of Social Work at Chinese Cultural University, he is devoted to LGBT plus rights, focusing on empowering LGBT plus individuals and their family and advocating LGBT plus rights. He has implemented the LGBT plus family in Taichung program since 2019. Kwon Min, you have the floor now.
Hello everyone, my name is Kwon Min-zhen. I'm a bit nervous now, but I'm still exciting because it's our first time to participate what we are doing now. And so today I will talking about the cooperation with NGO effort on the promoting LGBT plus right in the Taichung City. And I'm the Kwon Min and I'm the social worker from the Taiwan GDI Association. So today I will talking about the three topics. The first one is the current LGBT life in Taichung, and the secondly, and how to promote the LGBT right in Taichung through the three-step strategy to promote. And the third, we were talking about one more step to become a more LGBT friendly city. So before I start to my presentation, I'm curious. I'm a gay. I'm an openly gay. So I will ask you. So do you have any friend or your relative or your any colleague? If you have in your daily life you have one, so maybe you can raise your hand on the website, or you can tap the how many people, how many LGBT people you know in the daily life, not on the TV screen. It's in your daily life. Okay, so some people they will just raise their hand or they share how many people they really know about LGBT in the daily life. So if you don't, it's okay because I'm the. If you don't, it's okay because I'm the first guy that you met. So okay, so. And now we're talking about, so before we start, and I will want to introduce our association first. So we are from the Taiwan GDI Association. So we are located in the Taichung, the central part of the Taichung and the Taiwan. We provide the different service like the social worker service and hotline and different activity from the LGBT people. And we do the HIV serve and the other counseling, and the most important things we do the education. And recently we start to run a market, it called the Good Market. So if you are free on this Sunday, so maybe you can come to join us on the Taichung station in front of the square. So, and I were talking about the current being LGBT in Taichung. So, because so far there is no any survey to talking about how many LGBT population in Taiwan. So, how can we know how many people in Taiwan? So there is some data. So as everyone know, in the 2019, we became the first country in Asia to approve the same-sex marriage. So after almost 3 years, so we are curious how many people they are getting married. So I will show you the data. Before I show you the how many people, so maybe you can guess in your mind. So the first, how many people marry couple, same-sex couple in the Taichung and in the Taiwan? So they are already 7,344 couples. So it's in the person is a double. So and how many people and divorced couple in Taiwan? It's 1,036. So and how about the male and the female? So as you can say, there is the female more than the male, and also on the divorced couple, is the females more than the male. So its old data is until the 2000 February. So, and how about the Taichung? Because Taichung is the one of the 6 big city in the Taiwan, and all the population is about almost 3 million. So in Taichung, there are almost 1,000 couple, so they are already male. So it's not, I think it's less than the one of the population in Taichung, but the important thing is the Taichung social welfare bureau, they are really care about LGBT sexual minority in the Taichung. And so the third data I want to show you is after 3 years before the same-sex marriage, actually we have the referendum to vote to decide we want to the same-sex marriage or not. And so how about the daily people they are thinking about the LGBT they are can get married? So their data say because we approved the same-sex marriage in the 2019 and in the 2018, our the Ministry Yuan they do a survey. So only the 39% they think the same-sex couple they can marriage. But after the 2 years, so in the 2021, we found it's already the 60%. So they are dramatically 2,000% more than the several years ago. So what is the change? Well, before we think about a change, I want to make everyone to know about more what the LGBT people still face the issue. I think the most of the core issue is the sexual the identity. So, for example, it's in Taichung, you can easily to come out with your colleague, or you are in the school, you can come out to your teacher. Is it okay? And not just about the sexual identity, also include the family and the coming out and the right and the discrimination and the mental health in Taichung. So, and move forward, and as I said before, we approve the same-sex marriage, and because the referendum, there are a lot of conflict between the support LGBT people and the anti-LGBT people. So, and the Zheng Fang Yan doctor, they did a survey to what the before the mental health before the referendum. It said before the referendum, it's 15% the LGBT people they have the suicide attempt among the non-straight people. But after the referendum, it's dropped to it's more than the 24% the people they are attempt to a suicide. So it's a very, very, very sad. Even nowadays, more and more differently, but we know the referendum and the same-sex marriage still damage about the LGBT their mental health. So what we do to change it with the Taichung Bureau, and I think it's not the very special, the new strategy. It's the very, very traditional one. It's the empowerment and education and cooperation now. So it's not a new thing, but I think I want to do what we do now. So empowering, I think, is a very important. Usually we think, it's 2020, so everyone know LGBT is okay, but actually it's not. Why it's not? I think the fuller to target population for LGBT people, still a lot of people they're facing their social identity. They think it's not okay to being gay, even the education is teaching you it's okay. So it's a long-term issue we need to focus on. And another thing is even we approve the sexual labor law or the sexual LGBT education act, but and also the same-sex marriage. But I think a lot of the people who work in the city hall or in the different situation, different field, they still think being gay is okay, but why it's my issue or it just I need to respect. But I think it's not just respect. So in the beginning, so I asked everyone, do you have any friend who is LGBT? I think it's a very important thing. So because I think before when you start to know one alive LGBT people, you will make all slightly different. it's very, very slightly different, but after that, we will different, a big change. So on the pitch, on the slide, I share with the first one is we different the activity to work with our LGBT client, and this one is one of our guarantee about the transgender people. And the secondly, because we approve the same-sex marriage, so we ask our friend and our colleague to share about what is the life the same-sex couple their life in the Taichung. The picture one is the Chaozhen, another is Xingqi, is my high school classmate. So I think it's very important because nowadays I'm the 28 years old, but actually 10 years ago, I have never thought about I have one day same-sex marriage will approve. And I can talking about LGBT people in Taichung like now. Because when I was kid, my goal or my dream is when I grow up, I must go to the Taipei for the university because I think Taichung is not a friendly, it's not okay with being LGBT here. But there is a difference. After I graduated from the Chinese culture school, I came back because I feel here is slightly different and I want to put more effort here. And the most important thing, I'm living here. I'm a Taichung person, and I want to make a dream come true. That is, I want to make everyone they can come home, even they are LGBT people. Yep. So it's the first strategy, and the second one is the education. Education, yep. I'm lucky because from elementary school we have the class to thinking about the gender equality. Yeah, but why we still need to do that? Because I think one is not enough. For example, the last week I had the speech with other the students from the university who studying the social work. And after 1 hour, I sharing about the LGBT education. And the last question I asked them, if in front of you there is LGBT people, would you like to talk with him? One is no, I don't want. And 10 is I'm volunteer, I would like to talk to you. So you guess how many people they are the 20% there? How many people they say yes? Uh, there are about 50 people they say, yeah, I'm very, very welcome. But actually, there are some people, I remember there are the 3 people, they say only 5. So, not very volunteer. Yeah, but there are still 1 people, they say only 1. 1 is mean, no, don't talk to me. But if you ask me, I'm sad, not really, but I think it's a very important. Education is not to washing everyone or change anyone mind, but the most important things through education we can have the chance to talking about LGBT. The first of all, we can know each other. If you cannot change your mind, it's okay because it's a diversity society. So we need to again through the daily life to have the chance to know other LGBT people, and we have the chance to know more, not just on a sentence on the textbook. We can pass the exam, but if in front of you there is LGBT people, how can you deal with them? So I think in the Taichung's social welfare bureau, they use the different education, not for only the employee, also for the director, general director. And the most important things, last week I filled a form. Usually the sex form only the male and the female, but the event wrong arranged by the social society bureau, there is the other. So not only the male and the female, there is the third choice. And so we move to the next one, cooperation. I think it's a very alone to work alone. Yeah, so you need to know to other your partner. So get together and more powerful. So the first picture is we arrange an activity to talking about the gender equality and how we improve employment the city in Taichung. So the director and the city mayor came to our center to share with us. And secondly, so not only with the government, also need to find other NGOs, because I think everyone they talking about a different issue, and the gender equality not only care about the LGBT issue, also include the woman or the violence and other issue. So if we can find what is our same value, so we can work together. So there is not a very new strategy to how to improve the gender equality in Taichung, but I think sometimes you will feel a little bit sad or you almost want to give up. But I will tell you a story. You can see the first picture under the trust yourself. The picture is took on in the 2013. So it's 2013 is 9 years ago. So on the picture you can see some people they are wearing the glasses and some people they don't wear. And I was the person on the picture on the most left one. So at that moment I was a high school student. And actually, I just come out as a LGBT people, but I don't know. But I think at the moment I still feel afraid coming out, especially on the stage. But I think maybe we can make a little brief friend. Yeah. So nowadays I look back to myself. I feel I'm so innocent. I don't study a lot, but I think it's a very important the first step. Trust yourself. You can make a different change. No matter you are a student or you are already start to work, trust yourself and believe what you are doing now is a very important. And secondly, you need to find a partner. Partner not just about the NGO or work with the government, also important to find a volunteer who believe the same value as you. So as a picture, you can find we are it's all our volunteer. Some of them they are the LGBT people, or some of them they are the straight people. So not only the LGBT issue, not only the LGBT people need to care about, also the strange people. So everyone you need to join us, and we can make the difference. And the third and the most important things, I think some of them you must run the different issue or on the start to work for a long time, maybe more than me. So what is still important, let's talking about. Because if you don't want to talking about start to change it, we never change anything. It's just all in your mind. So the first and the most important things you need to do the same. So on the page, it's in 2019, and I was showing about LGBT textbook, storybook with the child. And at the moment, I think maybe this child they don't know about the same-sex family, they don't know LGBT people. But I was surprised because you can see there is a girl who is more older than the other three people. So after I telling the story, the girl answered to me, yeah, there is a two couple. There is auntie who live with us, and the mother is more not on the picture. He said, yeah, we have the roommate who is a same-sex couple. So before I sharing our story, I thought maybe for the young children it's too early for them, but actually it's now. It's now. So I think the most important thing is we need to do something different, and you will make the different change. So I spent 10 years to do until now. I still want to do it now. If you want to join us, let's go. It's my sharing today. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Kwame, for making us understand more about the situation of LGBT plus, and also for programming these projects for LGBT plus individuals to live freely and comfortably in Taichung City. I admire your strategy of trusting yourself, finding partners, and talking about the issue can help build Taichung a more gender-friendly city. Okay, and let's welcome our fifth panelist from Japan, President of the Kitakyushu Forum on Asian Women, Mitsuko Horiuchi. As everybody knows, Japan is quite near to us. You may take an airplane and spend 2.5 hours to get to Tokyo. President Horiuchi will introduce to us the vulnerability of Kitakyushu City and how her association operates to cooperate with the local city government. President Horiuchi has rich experiences in gender equality and empowerment of women, both at the national and international levels. She is also an expert in employment. She is engaged in a number of NGO activities on gender equality and child labor. President Holiuji, the floor is yours now. Please start your presentation.
Thank you. Yes, something. Thank you very much and good morning, good afternoon from the Kita-Kyushu city. I'm very happy to be here. And at the onset, I would like to express my sincere gratitude to the city of Taichung, Mr. Pen White-Tien, I think I pronounced well, Director General of Social Affairs Bureau, Taichung City Government. I'm very happy to be here, and also that because of interest of time, I will straightly present my presentation. My title presentation is the same as the overall title of the parallel event. However, I really look at the SDGs in particular, SDG 5 in gender equality. So let's move to the first page. Could you please? Okay, thank you. The second page, I can show that my main point of my presentation. You can see that something that about characteristics of a city, but my main point is that the third and fourth. And the third, I can show that good practices of the partnership between the city government and CSOs, and also that the fourth is the challenges ahead. So that move to the second page. Thank you. So this the slide shows where we are. We are the southern west part of Japan. The city has the population close to 100 million. 13th of the biggest city in Japan. There used to be our city be the metro used to be in the industrial hub, and now is moved to the green city. So the SDG city, I would say that, and then the goal 5 is a priority. So next page, please. And then I can briefly explain to you that about forum, that our forum, Kita-Kyushu Forum Asian Women, we are United Nations ECOSOC accredited NGO established in 1990 by the city government and women's organization both. Now, of course, the city government gave us the financial support than the women's organization, but that our organization was created both by the city government and women's organizations. And then I can explain to you that briefly that our major activities, we have 5, but we have also exchange of the people in Asia. However, that because of the COVID-19, we didn't do that for the past nearly 3 years. So therefore, I didn't put that, exchange of people, but including those, that we have the 6 main activities. So that first is the research and studies, and we have the broad subjects of the research and studies in Asia. Taiwan is one of the popular item or the target of the research. We had for the past several years, we have the research on the gender, the sexual minorities, and we have also research on the violence against women and children. Those that, and also the most recently we had a research on the women's participation in politics, which is very interesting. So the second activity is to training on gender mainstreaming to government officers in developing countries in Asia, Africa, and other regions. Also, we have the training just one country right now is Bhutan, the subject on the violence, agenda-based violence. That is a training mostly to the developing countries. And the third is the third is a flagship conference is this organizing Kita Kyushu Conference on Asian Women and other symposium and then seminars. I think several years that we had the expert from Taiwan on the aging care. So that is the third one. And the fourth one is information dissemination on the women in Asia. And then fifth one is quite interesting to you that we are managing Kita-Kyushu Municipal Gender Equality Center. So the gender equality is established and also municipal center. However, the management is, we are managing this the center. Okay, you can see that the left-hand side that the photo of our photo, the building where our organization is accommodating, and then this the lower part is this participant from the developing countries in our training. That is the photos. Could you please move to? Okay, there are so many the letters and the photos in just one slide. So one slide, it is very much different to look at whole things. However, I just explained to you that this is the one of the slide when our mayor made a state at the United Nations High-Level Political Forum on SDGs. In that, the forum, Mayor explained that origin of our anti-pollution movement. So left-hand side, the almost the center of the center, that photo shows that women's movement of the for the anti-pollution movement. Maybe that next slide, you can see that more clearly that what women did. We had anti-pollution movement that took place in 1950s. The slogan or the catchphrase of the women's movement was the women, we want our blue sky back. Because at that time, Kita-Kyushu City was one of the center of the industry in Japan. So because of that, quite a lot of pollution were there in air and then in the sea. So that is, and then you can see that right-hand side, that publication that shows that women's movement in environment. So that briefly, I can explain to you that this is the very famous women's movement in Japan. That is the why so famous. Why that the widely known is that this movement is just not only the advocacy, but the evidence-based approach, because they did the field research and studies and then collected all the data on the pollution. So then later, they collaborate with the university. So this is a very unique or unusual approach at that time that the women's movement did. They made an evidence-based approach, then made advocacy to the city and to the companies to take anti-pollution measures. So that is the historical women's movement and the Kita-Kyushu City. Maybe I would say that this women's movement when I was invited by the ESCAP quite a long time ago, that United Nations Asian regional the office, that I explained that this, the movement, it was quite interesting movement that, okay, so could you please move to, okay, then this is, perhaps I don't need to explain to you that what are the elements of the goal 5 of the SDGs. And then today, I just want to stress that 5.4, that was recognize and value unpaid care and domestic work, which is, I think, really the first time that United Nations really recognize importance of the unpaid care and domestic work, in part of the gender equality. This is kind of the problem or the underlining the challenge that women's the gender equality. So therefore, I just wanted to stress that 5.4, that is very much related to our activities. Okay, just next slide, slide, please. And this is one of the example that I want to show you, that this is the municipal gender equality center, but we are managing this center. That's this both empowerment, but not only just women and also men. You can see that women in the right-hand side, women are training for women's empowerment. That means that employment, in order to find the employment, that women are taking a training at the center. And then the left two slides are men's empowerment. So men's empowerment is more or less related to the family responsibility, as everywhere that in Japan also, that men do not usually take family responsibility, and family responsibility is very much heavily rely on women's side. So therefore, we are giving the training to men to empower men to take family responsibility. That the left-hand side is a cooking, that they're really learning cooking, and then the central picture showed that the training for the elderly care. Elderly care is also that mostly people feel that the women do women's job. So and the men do not really take that job. So therefore, we are giving the training to men how to care the elderly. So that we have many training in that center. However, due to the time constraint, I just show you that 3 photos. Next, please. And then I hear that I like to really show that the good example of the city government and the civil society organizations. The first one is that the disaster issues in Japan, like Philippines. You can see that the Philippines case, we have so many natural disasters, particularly the earthquake. We have so many earthquakes in Japan. So therefore, it is important that we have the city and then the civil society organization to have a partnership to take these issues. The first one that I like to really show, I like to stress that participation of women in decision-making process. This is the women's side, but mostly women come from the CSO. So therefore, I just put that the first one is participation of women in decision-making process. And the Kita-Kyushu City, we are proud of that highest ratio of women in that, the perspective in Japan. So the second one, that after the disaster, we need the shelter, disaster shelters. So disaster shelters that also women and girls friendly disaster shelters. We have so many participation, women, in particular, women's organization, not in individual women, but women's organization in management of shelters, because we want to have the safe and secure, that means that violence-free shelters for women and girls. And then we need to provide the support, provide or supply dignity keys, or install bathrooms for women and girls, and bathing facilities, and breastfeeding places, etc., etc. Those things that, that it is important that women and girls are considered, because as you are aware that the shelter facilities, there are so many women and then girls there. So therefore, we really want to, to make sure that the women are involved in, or women should be cared in shelter. So, and then by taking this chance, I really thank you, Taiwan, for your big support that was given to us for the Great East Japan earthquake that was took place in 2011, that 11 years ago. And I really want to thank you for your very warm, the support that was given to us. Thank you. So then the next page, please. So then I just wanted to almost really close to the conclusion, that in order to make the good, partnership between the city government and then CSOs, you really should really understand that roles that played by CEO. So therefore, I just put in that the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, important roles that played CSOs. First one is a driving force for change. That the change makers, that is a big role played by the CSOs. And the second one is that advocacy role. So advocacy role really important to push, that things forward. The third one is a catalyst for the new approaches to development. This is, that they are bravery enough to take new approaches. And then the fourth one is that the women's and through CSOs that participated in strongly, and then also their influence. So that is very important. CSOs, the women's, the very much, that here they participated. Okay, so then the next page, please. I think this is the last one. I just want to show that, that partnership between the city government and the NGOs. The challenges ahead is that recognize roles. That the first one is really that in particular city side, that the administration side, that should recognize roles or roles to be played by all players. That is very important. I used to work for the national government, so therefore, I just want to stress that it is very important to recognize roles to be played by the players. And then the second one, this is not just only the partnership, however, in order to make more effective partnership, we must understand, we must promote very well that mainstreaming gender or mainstream women in all areas of activities, which is sometimes very difficult, people feel that this is not the gender issue, this is some other issues. So therefore, I think the important issue when we have between the CSO and then the city government, it is important to do the mainstreaming gender in all areas of activities. The third one is really the effective coordination and cooperation. That the coordination might be the very important aspect. And then the fourth one that is just, that the challenge is not just only the partnership. However, I just want to concluding that, we really need to reach the young generations. So that is one of the challenges in the gender issues, that how we could really reach the young generations. I think that is it. Thank you. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, President Horiuchi. And I've been to Kitakyushu for one time, and I've missed the Yakikade there. And I was impressed with your introduction of Kitakyushu City's vulnerability in the environment, while it's also a turning point for women to fight for improving it, including solving the problem of air pollution and build a gender-friendly disaster shelter, which are amazing and worthy of being modeled in our future works. And before our Q&A session, I would like to ask everyone's kind help to turn on your camera so we can have a group photos as a memorial for today's event. Okay, so please everyone turn on your camera. You would like to join us for the group photos. Okay. Seems that everybody's like being shy. So we'll wait for about 10 seconds. Okay. Okay, I think that's might be of it. Okay. So for the first picture, I would like to invite everyone to do the break bias gesture of International Women's Day like this. Did everyone show your like the gesture like this? Like break the bias? Yes. We have to break the bias of the discrimination or something about gender equality. Okay. Okay. So that's it. Okay. Okay. So let's count up from 3, 2, 1, and I'll say cheese, and everybody say cheese. Okay. 3, 2, 1. Let's say cheese.
Cheese.
Okay. Okay. Thank you for your help. And for the second picture, I would like everyone to simply wear your smile like this. Yes. Or maybe a posture like this. So it'll be good. It's okay. Only your smile is okay.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Sorry. Okay. Let's count up from 3, 2, 1. Let's say cheese. 3, 2, 1. Let's say cheese.
Cheese.
Okay. I think that's it. Okay. Thank you, everyone. Now let's continue with our final session for today. Q&A. If you have any question or comment, please kindly put in the chat box in the bottom right corner, and we'll reply to you. Due to the time limit, we'll reply to 2 of the questions. Please do not hesitate to give us any feedback or suggestion or comment. You're welcome to do so. So, is there anybody like to raise a question for us or to the panelists? Okay, I think it's because that today we are talking about the public-private partnership experiences. So we have our audience participant asking about what are the difficulties when partnering with the NGOs, and also for the NGOs with the government, and are there any suggestions for overcoming the difficulties? Okay, and I would like to invite our honorary chairman Huang to share with us with what are difficulties that you have encountered and how to solve these difficulties. Okay.
Our association has been working with the Social Affairs Bureau, Taichung City Government, for more than 10 years. In the process of the collaboration, we need to cooperate with the government's policies while keeping our service characteristics. Continue to communicate and seeking common ground are the keys to overcoming difficulties. Thank you.
I'd like to move on to President Horiuji.
Hello?
I'm sorry, I mute myself. I just mute myself. President Horiuji, can you share with us what are your experience of encountering when you cooperate with the government? And what are the solutions for the difficulties?
Your question is very difficult to answer. Yes, the fundamental the challenge, I should say that to cause the difficulty is to the city administration to make duly understanding or recognition of the roles that played by the CSOs. Of course, that the laws, regulations, those related measures must be made by the government side. However, when you want to reach the people, perhaps the CSO has more advantage than the government side. So therefore, perhaps the government side must understand duly recognition of the roles that to be played by the CSOs. I think that is one of the things that the CSO, I think when you compare, the roles or compare the activities between the government and CSOs much quicker than the government in emerging issues. For example, I'm sure that the sexual minorities, CSOs much quicker than the government side to tackle that issue, and then also make sure that the issue is included in then to take actions. So therefore, perhaps that the CSOs quickly move to the newly emerging issues. So therefore, the government side a bit that the looks slow to move to. So therefore, but maybe that gap may create some difficulties, that for CSO to understand the government action. So therefore, perhaps, that one of the issue that I like to stress is to understand the government side to make understand of roles that played by the CSOs. That's my answer.
Okay, thank you, President Horiuji. And I would like to invite Kwan Ming from GD Association to give us some feedback to this question.
Okay. Hello again, I'm the Kwan. I think there are two the difficulty to work with the government. The first of all is who we are. Because the government, maybe we are the NGO, so they don't know what we are talking about and we are caring about. So I think the first day you need to improve what you are doing. I think, for example, there are a lot of different strategies like the CETO or like the different issue you can to do something to improve who you are. And the second difficulty, I think, is what we can do together. Because for the gender issue, there are a lot of, for the labor, for the female, for the violence, for the sexual minority, what kind of first we need to do together. So when you start to do, think about it, and you are talking with them, and I think the difficulty will different change. So it's my answer. Thank you, everyone.
Okay, thank you, Kwame. And I would like to give some feedback from civil servants. As for my personal experience, I can fully understand the feeling of rejection in the beginning, you know, but we will encounter so many difficulties in our works when cooperating with the NGOs. Yes, but through the process of finding out the problems and understanding each other and come up with the solutions, and we finally complete our programs. I think that's the very precious experience for me to work with the NGOs through this kind of process, because the result of our work is getting better and better than I just do it by myself. So I think it's very important to undergoing the partnership with the NGOs and with the government. Okay, so it seems that we have other questions that are curious about what are the prospects of our future prospects of our NGOs today. And I would like to start the question with the same order, which is started from Honorary Chairman Huang. And what's your future prospect in the future?
With the impact of the severe pandemic situation in recent years, emotional management has appeared more important. Recently, our association paid special attention to emotional education. We focus on how to manage intimate relationships, how to end a relationship, how to improve emotional intelligence, etc. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorary Chairman Huang. I would like to move to ask the same question to President Holyruji. What's the future prospect of your association?
I think it's a difficult question. However, I think the future, one of the issues that the challenge is the same thing, that however in the future gender issue, I believe that more important to tackle. So therefore I think in the future we do have more tasks to do. Of course, you know, we have the limit of the financial resources. So because of that, we would like to do, you know, much more. However, you know, the restriction we do have. However, in the future, I do believe that the gender issue is getting more and more important. Also, the organization deal with Asia, entire Asia, and information gathering and other things, and then that, you know, that the task is becoming more important because the Asia is, you know, Asia issue is more and more important than before. So because of that, I think we do have, you know, the more work in the future. So therefore, I think it's a bit difficult to answer to you. However, I think we have more more tasks to the future, and then in particular, we would like to have more network like you. So therefore, I think this time it is very good occasion, that opportunity for us to extend our network with other organizations. Thank you. And although you have the public sector, however, Thank you very much for this, opportunity to expand the network for us. That is my question.
Thank
my
you.
answer. Sorry.
Thank you, President Hoyuji, and thanks for your encouraging comments on cooperating with us this time. And I would like to move to Kwame for the same question. What are the prospects of GD Association?
I think our perspective is very clear. We want to make the Taichung city become a LGBT family friendly city, and we hope nowadays or in the future when we ask the LGBT young children the same question, what will want to stay in Taichung, and he will answer differently. Say, yes, definitely, I would like to work here, I would like to live here to being a LGBT people. And it's our perspective. So we are alone, but I think we do together and we will make a different big change. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Kwame, and also to thank you, our dearest panelists. I think I would like to come to a conclusion that the prospect of our future prospect is all about building our city a more gender-friendly city, a place for everybody to live comfortably and freely. Okay, I think that's all for today's event. And I've seen some comments on YouTube, and we'll get back to you when the event's over. Okay, so I think that's all for today. And thank you everyone, including our honorable speakers and participants. I'm so thankful for we're having the opportunity to be one of the NGO-CSW parallel event, and so to advocate for gender equality from the government's and NGOs' perspectives, and aiming at building our city more gender-friendly than ever. For enhancing the quality of the events in the future, please do not forget to fill out the survey form, and link is right at the chat box. Hope to see you soon. And I would like to invite our panelists to wave your hands to our participant today. Thank you for participating in our event today, and we are hoping to see you in the future in other events, international events, or other gender equality events. Okay, thank you. See you. And please do not forget to fill out the survey in the chat box. Thank you. Okay, see you.
Thank you.